Hello everyone, so today we're going to be going over improving digestion, what protocols I would use to improve our digestive capabilities. Potentially you are struggling with something within your diet, you're struggling with maybe digestion in itself. This could be something that could be maybe just not functioning to its capabilities that it once was. So this is the protocol I would recommend doing and implementing straight away. So first slide. First of all, we need to make sure that we are assessing our gut function. So making sure that we're going to the doctors and making sure we haven't got any food intolerances, any food, make sure we're assessing our time with what is any foods in high quantities that are causing any digestive issues. Make sure we're getting our blood work done in case there's any pathogens or diseases potentially. And then there's also the stool test, which will all be assessed through the doctors. So these are the type of things you would be assessed with your gut function, going to the doctors, making sure we haven't got any food intolerances before starting any protocols itself. I am not a doctor, so making sure that that is assessed through a medical trained expert who will assess if you have any food intolerances. Sometimes it could be something in high quantities that may be setting off a food intolerance itself. Okay, so we're making sure that we're having a high fiber, nutritious diet. We have plenty. Our hydration is between 2 and 3 liters. Making sure all foods that have pathogens, potentially stuff that meats and stuff that have, or pesticides that has been sprayed on your foods, could potentially be causing gut dysfunction. And if you have a sensitive stomach, that could be causing any digestive issues. So if you take that out of your diet and maybe start choosing organic choices that hasn't been sprayed with pesticides and basically been pumped with certain hormones, or potentially water or something like that. If it was meat or something like that, that potentially could have other substances in it that could be having an inflammatory response to your stomach if you have a sensitive stomach. Another one that's often neglected and not thought of is stress management. So related to the brain, you could be having digestive issues due to simply having a high amount of stress. Also, we're making sure that we're taking our time to chew the food. Simply having time and not rushing down the food can also cause an irritable response in the stomach itself. Then you recommend a supplement protocol, which I'll be going over, and then the elimination diet, which will basically going over pulling back all the foods to a certain amount of low GI tract foods, which basically, low FODMAP foods that were basically easily digested. Which will make you just a little bit more effective with when you add in other foods. You can kind of, with certain quantities, see what inflames the stomach, and it also gives you time to your GI tract to be repaired going forward, which we'll go over now. So first of all, removing all foods that could potentially causing any harm to the stomach itself. We will go over that in the next slide with all the foods. Then adding in digestive support and enzymes, things that could have potentially been compromised with an inflammatory response. You can buy digestive enzymes off the internet, fairly cheap, and then start repairing the GI tract itself. Zinc, fish oils, high, as I would have recommended in your plan at the very beginning. That should be a staple. Glutamine, 10 grams of that. Multivitamins should be in your diet already. And then also an apple cider vinegar at 10 ml, I would also recommend. Then after that point, so this should be over a couple of days. First of all, taking it first step, removing all the foods, to getting that digestive enzymes, then adding in the zinc, fish oils and glutamine and apple cider vinegar, then adding in the probiotics, the prebiotics, inulin, and then making sure that we are managing our lifestyle choices. These are going to be the things that are going to be effective with making sure our digestive issues are on track. So these are the foods that I would recommend to avoid on the elimination diet. These foods are just going to be a little bit harder on the stomach itself to digest. So taking these foods out, you'll be fine. You'll be fine with certain foods potentially, but for the time being, if you're suffering from a high inflammatory response, taking these foods out for maybe between 7 and 14 days, depending on who you are. And then letting your body recover from the inflammatory response that your body has just had, and giving you some time to repair. Foods to include in the so you've just taken a load of foods out. What can I eat? You can eat other foods. You're not going to be starving. Lean and fatty meats, hyperallergenic starches, rice, wheat, potato. Bean sprouts, carrots, choy, spinach, zucchini. Vegetables are often low reactors. Nuts and seeds, but not peanuts. Blueberries, kiwi, limes, bananas, orange, mandarins. Protein shakes, pea, hemp, and rice blends, as they're low. Basically, when you look on a pea, hemp, and rice, the ingredients list is much shorter, with not many sweeteners. May not taste as nice, and it might need to gulp it down a bit quicker, but it's going to be easier on the stomach. Also, low foods that also have potentially to be anti-inflammatory: chives, chili, ginger, turmeric, and lemongrass. Just going to help with the healing process of making, just like significantly reducing inflammatory response in the body, bringing down any inflammatory responses to the body, basically. So digestive enzymes, 1 to 2 tablets with each meal. Probiotics, I just say anywhere between 5 billion plus. I would probably recommend in the evening prebiotic, inulin, good bacteria. So you got a prebiotic and a probiotic. They're working in conjunction with each other. Just healthy bacteria, basically, to help with the beneficial growth. Fish oils, Nordic oil that I've recommended before, 5 grams per day. Zinc, 25 milligrams a day. That will also help with the stomach. 10 grams of glutamine. 50 grams is the upper end. You don't really need to have that much. Just have 10 grams in the morning. 10-15 minutes before meal, like just the next apple cider vinegar. I would recommend taking it with the apple cider vinegar. 10 grams of 10 ml of apple cider vinegar. Aloe vera juice is kind of like a relaxant. You don't really necessarily need to have it compared to the glutamine and apple cider vinegar, which is going to be much more beneficial for repair. 30 to 40 grams of fiber a day, and then 2 to 3 litres of water a day also help with the just functioning of the gut. So that's everything. That's what I'd recommend if you're struggling with digestive issues. If you need any more help from me, you can always drop me a message. But as I said, these are the supplements I'd recommend taking. The apple cider and glutamine are the star kind of ones that I would highly recommend, with obviously the water and the high fiber nutritious diet. But definitely recommend, with repair of the GI tract, is taking apple cider vinegar and glutamine, and potentially zinc as well if you get a chance. And just take that in the morning, first thing. 10 ml of apple cider vinegar with some water, potentially some lemon in it if you wanted, and then 10 grams of glutamine as well. It's just going to help with that repair track. Give it a try. It might not work. It might work. It depends who you are, but in my opinion, I think it's quite effective, and it's just going to help reduce any inflammation in the stomach itself and the GI tract itself. Have a great rest of the day. Let me know if this helps. If you want any information from me, I can drop you a message to let you know where I get any recommended supplements, and I will speak to you soon.